Being a day player, Video 2, Behaviour on set. This is perhaps the most important video in the series, because your future career can depend on how you behave on set. You won't be remembered for your acting, however good it may be. You'll be remembered for your behaviour, or rather, if everything is fine, you won't be remembered at all. But if it isn't, you will be remembered. And this is a very small business. Bad news travels fast. It can very quickly get back to the casting director and even to your agent. And the first thing to take into account is that the only moments when you truly matter are those between action and cut. The rest of the time you are, quite simply, unnecessary. This is as true for you as it is for an A-lister. On a full-budget film set, there are up to 100 professionals, people at the top of their game, each of them with a job to do. You are expected to do yours when the time comes, without fuss and professionally. Do not, under any circumstances, mention to anyone this is your first time on a set. Act as though it is a normal experience, even if inside you are wide-eyed in wonder. The reason for this is that the people involved need to feel confident that you know what you are doing. Now, I'm sure that you have done workshops and masterclasses on screen acting. In those classes, the entire focus is on the actors participating, and this is right and proper. You have paid for those classes, and you and the other participants have every right to expect the tutor to be focused entirely on you. If there is a camera in the room, the operator is there for you. Again, this is how it should be. In those workshops, the tutor has taken you through character development exercises and other acting techniques necessary to develop your craft and nurture your talent. You can act. That is a given. This is proven by the fact that from your audition or self-tape, you have been cast in the role. In the first video, my introduction video, I talked about what happens on the day. Incidentally here, if you haven't watched it, please do so before continuing. These videos are a sequence, not standalone individual ones. At some point during the day, you are called onto the set for the first time. And this is where the difference between a workshop or training session is enormous. The crew are doing their jobs and nobody takes the slightest notice of you. The 100% focus that you experienced in the training studio is replaced by a total indifference, which can be a bit of a shock. Why would anyone pay attention to you? They have their jobs and you are not involved. Makeup might do a bit of a touch-up. The sound assistant will equip you with a hidden lapel mic. And that's it. Do remember that you have that mic. And be very careful what you say at all times from now on. After the first rehearsal that I talked about in the introduction video, a number of things might happen. The chef op, the cameraman, might decide there is not enough light in one area and call for a 4K in the right-hand corner. This means the electricians have to go to their truck, get one and a stand, plus a cable, install the lamp, run the cable to the generator, plug it in and switch it on. And you can imagine how long that will take. Now, what do you do during that time? And this is where we come to the number one rule. Do not get in the way. Ever. And the number two rule, always be available. If they need you back on set and you are nowhere to be found, you are making 100 people wait. These rules may seem contradictory, but you have to find that balance. On most sets, there is a designated area for coffee, tea, and Jaffa cakes, and so on. If it is within sight of the set, that is a good place to be. You're out of everybody's way, but visible when they need you back on set. If you are not in sight, make sure the fourth AD knows exactly where you are. Remember also, when you are there, that you have a lapel mic, which is live. I have been told some hilarious stories by sound engineers of conversations they have overheard. This may seem a little harsh, but avoid conversations with the extras. They are a bit of a peculiar breed, and as they spend most of their time waiting around and not having anything to do, a negativity sets in, which you want no part of. And also, remember the mic. If they think you are being snooty and standoffish, that is not your problem. You need to protect yourself. More waiting. But at least now you are on set, sort of. Whatever technical difficulties that the first rehearsal revealed are now solved, and you are called back onto the set proper. As I said in the introductory video, this is probably the moment when the director comes out from behind the monitor and gives some direction. I go into this in much more detail in the next video. Back on set for the second rehearsal. You have remembered the blocking, but if you have slightest doubt, ask. The first AD will much prefer to run you through it again rather than have things screwed up by your making a mistake. This will not look unprofessional. On the contrary, it will demonstrate how serious you are about your work. What is vitally important for you is that you are confident and in control of your work. And you have every right to ask for whatever you need concerning that. On the shoot for the last duel, I had a scene in which I had to be on a very precise mark, as Ridley Scott was shooting with 5 cameras. I had to hit that mark within a centimetre. I found I had a serious problem. The ground was muddy and slippery and on a slope, and I was carrying a very heavy crossbow. My boots had no tread, and my footing was, to say the least, precarious. Simply staying upright was a challenge, let alone hitting such a precise mark. So I explained the problem to the first AD, and he organised for some gravel and sand to be spread on the ground so that I had some traction. That is not being difficult. That is being professional. The situation affected my ability to do my job. That is what makes my complaint, if you like, legitimate. Be careful what you demand, though. It must be reasonable and it must concern your work. Finding your mark. It has been given because of various elements, lighting, the framing of the shot, and other things that don't concern you. It is essential that you hit it. Bang on. Once on it, during the preparations for the rehearsal, look around you and find points of reference. One trick that I use is, when you can do it without getting in anybody's way, walk backwards from the mark and count the steps. If you have to come in through a door, for example, and walk to your mark, count the number of paces and remember them. A cardinal sin is to look downwards, plant your feet, and then look up. Even a quick flick of the eyes to check will be picked up by the camera. And yet, you must be on it. The focus puller has determined exactly which stop to use, and if you are 5 centimetres off, you will be out of focus. Knowing your text, or your lines. Surely it must go without saying that this is absolutely essential. It has been said, you cannot lie to the camera. I maintain that you can, but you need a mastery of technique to be able to do so. One thing the camera will always notice is any sort of hesitation, particularly concerning the text. Now, most directors demand dead letter perfect, although there are some who prefer that you appropriate the text and improvise. Again, any hesitation is deadly. Dead letter perfect is, to my mind, preferable, and you have done all those exercises in your workshops to make it appear totally spontaneous. In the introductory video, I talked about the hierarchy of the on-set experience. As a featured artist, you have a certain status, not on a par with the A-lister, of course, nor with the major second roles, except during the take itself. And your behaviour should reflect that. You are not an extra, not an intern, and you should not behave as such, despite how out of your depth you may be feeling. You need to exude confidence. Confidence in your talent, your craft, and your absolute right to be there. Always remember, they saw dozens of actors for this role, and they chose you.